Okay, my name is Vincent. I was the executive producer and vice chairman of the board of Spelling Television for 29 years. But the most formidable time of my life was the time I spent in the Navy, and 2 years of that time I had the honor of flying with the Blue Angels. A lot of people always ask me, how did that all start? And interestingly enough, it started when I was a cadet. About 10 weeks into the 16 weeks of what they called pre-flight in Pensacola, Florida, where you do a lot of studying in classrooms, but basically the other thing that happens is that there's a group of Marine drill instructors who are watching you with very callous style. You can take what they dish up to a class, a whole bunch of us in my flight, and 6 blue airplanes shot by overhead at about 1,000 feet. And I went, whoa, I want to do that. So about 3 or 4 days later, I get all dressed up in my best set of khakis, and I went down to Sherman Field where the Blue Angels were stationed. And I walked up to the second deck where their offices were. I walked into the ready room, and there were 2 of the Blues were playing AC/DC. And I said, "Excuse me, sir, but I'd like to speak to the commanding officer." And they kind of gave me one of those, pointed to an office. So I went and I knocked on the door, and I heard, "Yeah." I walked in and I said, "Cadet Ventimiglia reporting, sir." And he said, "Uh-huh. And just what is it you're reporting for?" I said, "I want to be a Blue Angel." And with those cold black eyes of this Navy jet fighter pilot, who is a Philippine Sea war veteran and highly decorated commander, looked up and said to me, "Don't you think you ought to learn how to fly first?" And that was my first introduction to him and the team. Years later, when I applied to be a member of the Blue Angels, I wrote to him, and he remembered me. And I said, "Would you recommend me?" And he said, "Absolutely," and he did. That's the first story.